Howdy and welcome. You are listening to A Mom's Guide to Wine, a guided wine tasting with candid reflections on motherhood. Here we spill the tea, but never the wine. We are your hosts, Eliza James
and Rosie Gold,
and we are so glad you joined us for today's tasting adventure.
Full disclosure, for those with little ears around, 90% of our topics and language will be more on the R rating scale. Also, we are not professionals or experts. We are simply sharing our experiences and including some Google searches for support. We are amateur wine enthusiasts and professional moms. That is our skill set.
And first, there's no cats in the room.
Oh, that's right. Last time that was a problem.
That was a problem, so not today.
I mean, she was happy. She was playing. She was loving life.
She was. That was the problem, is that
Her
she's living in
Fupa was dancing.
She was having way too much fun. So, no cats in the room. But today's wine is from Ravenwood Winery in Sonoma, California. So, I'm going to read you the story that I found online about this winery. Bear with me. On a dark and gloomy fall afternoon in 1976, Joel Peterson drove out to Dry Creek to pick up the freshly harvested grapes destined for one of his debut vintage Zins. But to his dismay, the 50-pound wooden bins brimming with fruit were scattered in different spots all over the vineyard.
Oh no, how did that happen?
Who knows? Under the threatening sky, with lightning glinting off the surrounding hills, Joel worked alone.
I feel like this was poor timing.
I know. Lugging crate after crate to his truck, as he toiled, 2 ravens harassed him, croaking from the trees above. At first, all I could hear was Poe's raven croaking, "Nevermore," Joel remembers. A light drizzle had begun, but miraculously the rain fell everywhere except where Joel worked.
What?
After he loaded the last bin, a double rainbow appeared in the sky, and Joel recalled a Native American legend about a wise and wily raven who tutored early man in the art of survival. I decided that instead of being harbingers of doom, those ravens were protecting me and cheering me on. By the time he loaded the last crate into his truck, well after dark, Joel had taken the sleek black raven as his totem. So, that's the story.
That's pretty intense.
I know. So now for the bad news. Bad news. Ravenswood brand was acquired by E&J Gallo? I don't know how you pronounce it. From Constellation Brands in April of 2019. The former winery property, including the tasting room and 12-acre estate, wasn't part of the deal. But Constellation shut the doors to the Sonoma Valley Wine Tasting Room in May of 2019.
Oh,
I know, right?
so I guess there wasn't a giant cauldron of gold at the end of those rainbows, huh?
Apparently not. I don't know, it might have been. I don't know how much he got bought out for.
Oh, well, yeah, good point.
Because they're a pretty big winery. They got the roosters on the wine bottles. I don't know if you've ever seen those in the store.
Okay, uh-huh.
That's what I thought of immediately. Was like, I've seen the roosters on the wine bottles at the store. I look at wine bottles way too often is what that tells me. But to each their own.
Let's check out this bottle.
So, I was reading that this one is like a 14% alcohol volume. 14.9% alcohol volume.
That's a good one.
Now, since obviously they are gone out of business, being rebranded, maybe you can't buy their wine very many places anymore. But I bought this at Kroger not even that long ago for like $7. So that was pretty exciting for me.
That's pretty awesome.
I did notice you can buy it online. There's a couple of places that still sell it and have bottles. So this is a 2019 vintage. So we got one of the last vintages probably made under this brand name. So that's exciting.
Look at that. It says, experience what a true Zinfandel is meant to be. Our Zin is a robust, red, brimming with mouthwatering notes of spicy, ripe raspberry, cherry, and boysenberry. What the hell is a boysenberry?
I don't know. I feel like maybe it's like a...
It's in the wine today.
I guess we need to learn. So, let me get out my...
We need to find culture.
It has foil on top, mind you. I'm just going to use my rabbit ears, okay? So we don't cut the foil off when we use rabbit ears. I only cut the foil off when I'm using my fancy, smancy...
automatic opener.
Because I don't want to break it.
Oh.
I don't want to break it.
It puts too much stress on it, or what?
I'm worried that it might. All right, ready? Ha! Ta-da! So, if you'll pour us some glasses. I will smell the cork. The cork's cute. It's got the ravens on it. Here, top me off. I don't know. It's not very fragrant on the cork. I mean, I haven't smelled the glass or the bottle yet.
The glass smells kind of dry.
It does. It smells very
it's not
dry.
Sweet. Kind of like wood.
It is kind of woody, like cedar almost.
Yeah.
That,
spicy.
It's very spicy. Like, it smells like pepper.
Definitely smells spicy.
All right, we're going to go in for the taste. Swirling. Let it aerate a bit. It's definitely spicy on your tongue.
I tasted a little raspberry, but it's definitely all spice.
I'm not picking up maybe some cherry.
It was a fleeting moment.
But it's very short. Like, I feel like it's
very fleeting.
It's short. Like, it doesn't have a long finish. It's a very short finish. It would be good with a heavy meal, like our steak and potatoes.
Yes. Heavy.
Pasta.
Let's go with brisket. Barbecue on a Sunday.
I do love barbecue.
Some barbecue zin.
I don't know that we've had Zifandel on here before at all. I don't know if I've had a Zifandel before. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't keep track of those kind of things.
Yeah. But you drank it and you didn't hate it.
And it didn't burn me.
That's good. That's the important part. We don't want you to be burned. Don't be burned.
Definitely tastes like alcohol.
Ooh.
Don't get me wrong.
It is definitely heavy in the alcohol department. That is for sure. So, today on Season 2, Episode 8, we are bringing it back. Facts.
Myths debunked. I feel like we just want to be very airy today.
Maybe that's it. We're just like lots of gusty wind in our...
A little airhead, but that's okay.
We can't help everything, all right? Genetics. I'm going to blame genetics. So, we thought it'd be really fun to talk about myths and legends of womanhood / birthing because there's so much information out there in the world.
Everyone wants to tell you their opinion.
Yeah, so we're talking science-based facts.
And a lot of them are related to pregnancy, I think, because everyone gets so excited about a new member of the family, and so they want to be the one to guess
advice
what gender it is.
So, on that note, how you carry during pregnancy determines baby's sex, yet true or false? False.
Yeah, because it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No. So they're saying, like, if you're carrying low, it's a boy. If you carry high, it's a girl. Well, actually, if you've never given birth to children, your chances of carrying high are like a gazillion times higher. If this is your second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever child, guess what? Your muscles have loosened in that area, and you're going to automatically carry lower. So it doesn't matter.
I mean, that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Something I did find interesting is boys leading to a longer labor. True or false?
I would say that makes no sense and has no hold on things. But I had a very long labor, and you did too.
I did. So,
on our boys.
So, it actually is true. Research shows that boys require generally more assistance. There's more cesarean births for boys than there are for girls. Because they like to complicate things. Just like the men in our lives, complicating things. So, that one's true. I thought that was kind of fun.
That's so weird.
Breastfeeding as a form of birth control. True or false?
Well, obviously, if you're pumping out everything out up here, you can't pump anything out down there, right?
So there is some truth to it. It's actually not a foolproof birth control plan, FYI. But if you were exclusively breastfeeding, and by I mean a baby on the tit breastfeeding, not pumping and putting it in a bottle breastfeeding.
Yeah, because it does things different with your brain.
Your body releases different hormones. But if you're exclusively breastfeeding, the chances of you getting pregnant in the first 3 months after having the baby are very slim.
Which is funny because the first 6 months after having a baby, it's like
that's when you're
house down there, and
you're most likely to get pregnant.
Very pregnant.
Yeah. So, the first 3 months. After that, you should really be seeking other forms of birth control. The only foolproof method is to not have sex. That is how you do not get pregnant 100% of the time.
Look at that.
Look at that. Fun fact. I actually had a friend who got pregnant breastfeeding. And she didn't know she always thought that if I'm breastfeeding, I cannot possibly get pregnant. Well, just because it worked for your cousin does not mean it's going to work for you.
And that's so true that most of these superstitions and myths come from family members that just want to...
They're trying to help.
They're trying to help.
They're like, well, it worked for your granny back in 1900s. Well, that's nice for granny.
If you don't know 100%, then just know that the results might not be 100%.
That's right. Otherwise, you're going to be like my friend, and her daughters are like 10 months apart.
Yeah.
So one of my bosses, her and her sister were like 10 months apart. She called them Irish twins because they were the same age for like 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So that's insane. So just know, if you have sex during that time period, it is a possibility. It's not foolproof. All right? Another myth out there that we discovered. That doctors can tell if a woman is a virgin.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
No, you cannot just look and tell. It's not a thing. Especially after a woman has... until they have children... a doctor cannot look and be like, oh yeah, she's had sex. It's not really a thing. Of course, now mind you...
I mean, but I thought there's a thing in there.
There's differences, like if it's forceful penetration, because then there's bruising and stuff that goes along with that. But otherwise, normal consensual sex versus a virgin, you cannot tell. Doctors cannot just look and be like, no, she has a hymen. Well, it's actually not... I mean, you have one, but the chances of you breaking it because you rode a bicycle or something, because it just naturally breaks, it's normal. Yeah, fun fact. Not fun?
That's so odd.
Your face says it's not fun
like
fact.
It sounds like it should be a myth.
So doctors cannot tell. That antibiotics can make your birth control ineffective.
I've definitely heard that myth before.
Okay,
so is it true or not?
So I researched this, okay? I want y'all to know I researched this. And...
I guess I shouldn't be calling it a myth until you tell me.
Research says that this may not actually be true.
What?
So there's no...
I've definitely heard that a bunch.
I've been told this. Like when I go pick up my prescriptions, a pharmacist will be like, hey, if you're on birth control, I would recommend using extra protection while you're on this antibiotic. I've been told this.
Yeah.
But there's actually no scientific evidence. It's just that there was a study done with a certain type of antibiotic that was done to prevent, like, I don't know, it was some, like, I'm trying to think, like, some, like, I don't want to say, like, third world type disease, all right?
Okay.
So it's, like, this very strong, potent antibiotic, and they were testing it, and that antibiotic could make birth control ineffective. Okay. Out of the small study that was done. That's it. That's where everybody gets this information from. It's this one study. There's no other studies being done to see if antibiotics make birth control ineffective. So, not particularly true.
Probably because there's just not money in it.
Right. Why would you? It's easier to just say, just don't have sex while you're on antibiotics. Plus, you shouldn't be wanting to have sex because you're on antibiotics. I don't know. They drag me down, and they make me not feel good.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't feel good when I'm on antibiotics, so I don't know.
Mess up your guts.
Yeah, you got the poos.
Like, who wants to be doing things with that?
No. I don't know.
I mean, your significant other might.
They're not the one dealing with it.
But you're dealing with it.
So that's one that, not necessarily true. Here's a fun one. Men and women need equal sleep.
I mean, there's some people that need more and some people that need less.
True. As a sex, though, men need less. Women actually require more sleep because the way our bodies are built and made to function, where men function at the same capacity at 5 hours of sleep versus they do 8 hours of sleep, women perform less